Hi, it's Jared from Strong Roots Farm. Today we're going to talk about what is the best animal to have to start with on your small farm or homestead. That's coming up today. Welcome back. We're excited to answer this question we've had. What is the best animal for a small farm or a homestead? What should I start with? Let's take a walk out to the farm and let's get to this answer. In order to let you know what the best animal is, we need to talk about what criteria we use to come up with this. And first in this list is what we're not going to talk about. And today we're not going to talk about profit margins, mainly because this will vary from your market wherever you live. This can be the market on each style of animal we'll talk about on the farm. Depending on what market you've built in your area, how people sell products is going to vastly change the numbers. So today we're not going to specifically talk about profit margins. So before you beat me up about the animal choice, let's not, just remember, we're not talking specific profit margins. The animal we've chosen could be the highest profit margin animal in your area or work best for you, but it's not specifically on my farm. So before I give you bad advice, I'm going to let you know this is not the highest profit margin animal we have here on our farm. It's one of many, and I'm going to go into the reasons about what I think you should look at when considering what is the best animal for you. So when you're first selecting the animal that you want to get first on your homestead or small farm, the thing I think that's most important, or in the top 5 here, is the learning curve. How vast is the learning curve with this animal? How much do you need to know? How many curves are going to be in this journey that you're about to venture in on? How fast can you learn what you need to learn to invest time and energy into this animal? So the animal must have a low learning curve. It must be very quick to master, or at least get the good hang on what you're doing. So this animal has to have a low learning curve. Next, the animal must be easy to get. It must be widely available wherever you're at in the US or in any other country. It has to be easy to get a hold of these animals. So if we're talking emu or ostriches, you may not be able to get those in your area. Maybe where you live is not compatible with cattle. You need to think about this. And so this animal that we're going to choose must be widely available in any area to rank at the top of our list. Next, I thought about inputs. For the animal that was going to be at the top of my list, it needed to have low inputs. I don't need to spend a fortune to get this animal and then a fortune to keep it alive before I can actually produce a product to sell. So I was looking at low inputs, low maintenance, and low care. Not a lot of time. I don't need to spend years in getting a product ready to sell. So the animal at the top of my list would have those things: low input, low maintenance, and a low amount of care. Next, to get to the top of our list, the animal had to be hardy. What do I mean by this? So usually when we talk about something being hardy, we talk about plants. So if you're the type of person that doesn't have a green thumb and you can kill a cactus, you're not very good at this. You're going to want an animal, if you're going to choose an animal on the side of things, something that's hardy, something that's hard to kill, something that will maintain itself without you, essentially. There's a lot of leeway for error. The last thing, whatever product this animal produces, it needs to be versatile. You need to have multiple products from one animal. So if you're choosing an animal that only produces one product, you have to put all your eggs in that basket, for instance. You're putting all your money into this one product, hoping you can sell the one product. But if the animal you choose has multiple products that it produces, it gives you a better chance of being successful to find where you fit best in your area as far as selling. It also, on a homestead, produces a wider variety of products for you and your family to eat. So to get to the top of our list, this animal had to be versatile in what products it could produce. So what's the best animal to start with on your small farm or homestead? Egg-laying chickens. If you guessed it, there it is. So our first thing was, whatever animal you pick needs to be readily available. You can get chickens in any state in our country. You can get chickens all over the world. They ship chickens in the mail. So if you have a mailbox, you can get chickens. Chickens have a very low learning curve. It's pretty simple. You give them a safe place to live, you keep them fed, you keep them watered. There's not a lot of medications or special tricks to this. They like grass, they like bugs, they'll eat about anything, and they give you great products. Very low learning curve, tons of resources out there available, whether it's on YouTube or books. Chickens are very easy to raise, very forgiving. Which leads us right to our next point. They're super hardy. It's very hard to lose a chicken. Now, they are very predator prone because they are very low on the food chain. They're a smaller animal. They take up a lot less space. But because of that, there are a lot of predators. But you, the farmer, can mediate those things. And as long as you protect them, they will pretty much keep themselves alive. The inputs on a chicken is very small. So one, it's probably the cheapest animal anywhere that you can get for a small farm or homestead. It's definitely the cheapest animal we have here on our farm. You can spend $25 on a pullet or $2 on a baby chick and raise it out versus $1,000, $1,500 on a calf or $300 for a sheep, whatever it would be. They're definitely the lowest input to get started. Plus, they don't eat very much food. Their food is very cheap. For the product that you get back, the inputs are very low. They eat grass, they eat bugs, they'll eat food scraps. The inputs for chickens are probably the lowest of any animal I have on my farm. And last, and probably what I think is the most important reason I think you should get chickens, what really put them at the top of my list is the versatility. So you buy chickens, you can then sell eggs. That's the pretty obvious thing. But there's so many more products. You could hatch baby chicks to sell baby chicks. You could raise them out and sell full-grown pullets like we do. You could kill them and eat the chicken. Now, there are better breeds versus egg layers to eat as meat, but in all else fails, you can feed your family. You have feathers for pillows and all kinds of other things if you want that. But you can eat the bird, you can eat the eggs. They produce more birds on their own. You don't have to worry about inbreeding so much. So they reproduce and they become a sustainable, ever-flowing food source for your homestead. That's what puts them at the top of our list, the versatility of products, the versatility of reproduction, and the low cost that you have. But not only that, if you don't have a lot of space, anybody can raise chickens. You don't have to have a bunch of land and pasture. You could have a small backyard in a neighborhood and raise chickens. You can start producing your own food today with a sustainable source of protein with chickens. And so this is why chickens have become number one on our list as the best farm or homestead animal to start with. So I said I wasn't going to make it about profit margins, but I do feel it is necessary for me to give you the numbers on chickens, laying hens specifically. So we sell our eggs for $4 a dozen. To come up with the cost of our eggs, I took the cost of my coop, depreciated it over a 5-year period. I took the cost of the hens, which is either you buy a baby chick and you raise them to 22 weeks, that cost, or if you buy a full-grown pullet, which we sell ours for $25, and I took that cost per bird, depreciated it over 2 years, and then I assumed that every bird would lay 300 eggs per year. When I run the numbers like that, zero cost for labor, zero cost for egg cartons. So if you're selling in a farmer's market, you're going to have to add that in. Just food, the coop, the chicken, and the minerals and the egg oyster shells that we give them, just those and water. When I depreciated all that out, each bird makes me a certain amount of profit. And when I figure those out, each dozen eggs costs us somewhere between $260 and $270. For us, it came out to $267 a dozen. Now, we buy a high-end feed. We purchase all of our own feed. So we don't grow our own feed. We don't buy a low-end feed. We buy a high feed from our local feed mill. So all of our inputs are there. And my coop was a little bit more expensive than the average coop, if you could see and tell it in this video. So you can get this cost down, but on average, with paying myself zero for labor, we're making about $1 per dozen on the eggs. For eggs, An average bird will give you 5 to 6 eggs per week. So if you want to know how many eggs are we going to have to sell, that's a good random number. If you use 300, it's actually 5.6 eggs per week that each bird will give you. If you decide to sell baby chicks go from anywhere from $2 to $4 in our region. So depends on how well you can sell them, whether you incubate them or you let the mother hens naturally produce those chicks on your own, and then you sell them out of that batch. Depends on how you want to do it. To get a baby chick, though, you need a rooster, which is now another animal that eats but does not produce an egg product. So I'm only letting you know this for the ratio. You should have about 1 rooster for every 12 to 15 hens if you want to produce good baby chicks to sell. The last product that I'm going to recommend is, which we sell full-grown pullets. So typically 6 months old. They've been laying for about 30 days. We know they're reliable when our customers take them. And so we sell these birds for $25 a piece. So if you're in our local area and you're interested, we do still have some available. We have sold quite a few, but that is a good product for us. So we can hatch the baby chicks ourselves. We can put 20 to 30 weeks into them, and then we can start selling these birds. To get them to that period, and I made a whole video on this if you want to look at it, but to get them to that period, it cost me about $15. So when you look at just on pencil and paper, I thought it was going to be around 13, but at the end of the day, when I calculated everything that I had spent to get those birds to start laying, cost me about 15 bucks. Now, that's zero labor, $0 for labor. So when I sell them for $25, it sounds like I'm making $10 a bird, but I've paid myself $0 for 6 months of work. So take that into account, but it is another good product. So with egg layer birds, you have 3 good revenue streams. Eggs, you have baby chicks, you have full-grown pullets, and then of course, if you kill the chicken, you can eat the bird. They're not as good as a Cornish cross, but there are some very good hybrid egg-laying birds that will feed your family and can produce a very good product. We typically call these stew birds. And when we sell stew birds, it's usually after they're 2 to 3 years old. So when we're ready to get rid of them, they've stopped laying, we're ready to bring in some new layers. These are crock pot style birds for chicken soup, things like that, where the crock pot will break that bird down. They're not as tender. You don't want to sell boneless, skinless chicken breasts out of one of these birds, but they do sell for a good product, and you can sell those from anywhere from $5 to $10 per bird, depending on your local area. So there is a very good revenue stream for your small farm or your homestead, or it's a very sustainable animal to feed yourself if that's all you're looking to do. That is why we recommend the egg layer bird as the #1 animal to start with on your small farm or homestead. Well, there you have it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share us with your friends. Let us know what we can do for you. We appreciate everybody spending your time with us at Strong Roots Farm.